For you are bought with a price, therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's. 1 Corinthians 6:20. Although the media has advanced communication in society, it can have indirect effects on teens and their likelihood to commit suicide. As participants and viewers of the media, we must strive to keep the media morally balanced and show teens that suicide is not morally right. One in 6 high school students have considered suicide, and 1 in 12 have actually attempted suicide. So that means in an average class at Cardinal Ritter, 4 students will have considered suicide, and 2 may have actually attempted it. In my presentation, I'll be talking about the media's indirect impact on teen suicide, what the church teaches about using the media wisely, and a solution to help lessen the media's negative effects. Then I had a cookie, which I will not do. Hi, my name is Maria Mark. I will be talking about teen suicide in the media. In 2012, the CDC reported over 40,600 suicides, so that's 1 every 12.9 minutes. So during this presentation, at least one person would have committed suicide. Suicide is the 3rd leading cause of death for high school students, and it dates all the way back to ancient Greece and Rome, where you could commit suicide if you had a good reason. And there are 11 mentions of suicide in the Bible. So what does the Catholic Church say? Obviously, the Catholic Church disagrees with suicide. They don't want you to commit suicide. And they teach about the dignity of the human person because God made us in His own image. So we have to respect the dignity that He gave us. And only God has the power to give and take away life. So we don't have that power, especially to take away like someone else's life or your own life. And it's against the human instinct of self-love and self-preservation. And they also teach about respecting our own dignity. Michael Kronenletter, the author of Journalism Ethics, said in his book, "The power of the media is not absolute, but it is real." Probably the biggest influence that the media has on suicide is on copycat and cluster suicides. And a copycat suicide is when somebody hears about a suicide in the media and then they commit suicide in the same way. And a cluster suicide is basically like a group of copycat suicides that all are happening around the same time, and then sometimes they all do it like at once, and at the same time they get in a group and plan it, which is really awful. And then another big influence from the media is cyberbullying. In 1962, when Marilyn Monroe committed suicide rates rose by 12% that year. So if she wouldn't have committed suicide, a lot less people would have committed suicide. So that proves that the media does have an impact on that. And because people relate to the victim, especially teenagers. So how can the media prevent this? Basically making the victim unrelatable. So they need to leave out details and not include how they committed the suicide, or and don't and then the media can also prevent this by following the church's guidelines for good morals in the media, and I'm going to talk about that more later. Catholic social teaching. One of the Catholic social teachings is the life and dignity of the human person. So we believe in protecting life from conception to natural death. So suicide would not be a natural death. And we have to use our free will responsibly and to glorify God. In Familiaris Consortio, Pope John Paul II says that family has a responsibility to view everything in light of the church's teachings and like to teach their kids to view everything in light of the church's teachings too. And then the fifth commandment says, "Thou shalt not kill." And in the Catechism, it says, "God alone is the Lord of life from its beginning until its end. No one can, under any circumstance, claim for himself the right to directly to destroy an innocent human being." And then my counter argument: the media can also be like a positive influence and a support system for people who are like grieving over someone who's committed suicide, or it can be like encouragement for people who are considering suicide. Like when Robin Williams committed suicide last year or 2 years ago or whatever. There were a lot of like tweets about it. I think there were like 60,000 like in a minute or something like that, and it was like people encouraging or like honoring his life and like saying how much of an influence he was, and then encouraging other people to like that are considering suicide to like get help. And so there was like a lot of stuff about the National Suicide Prevention Hotline and like those kind of like help resources and stuff. And then there was another story I found, and there was a girl named Taylor, and she tweeted that she was committing suicide, and she had just taken like a bunch of pills, and like a bunch of people started tweeting about her and like praying for her and stuff, and then they found her sister through Twitter, and they messaged her, and they said, like, your sister is committing suicide, you need to call the police and get her to the hospital. So she did, and she ended up getting to the hospital in time, and they saved her life. So that's definitely a way that the media can like help prevent suicides. But the media can also glorify and glamorize suicide and make it seem like more glamorous than it actually is. So the Church's Guide to the Media, the USCCB actually like published a guide, like it's on their website, and it's like a huge long thing. So I thought this was really important from it. Public health officials, psychologists, and news media professionals concluded that certain types of news reporting on suicide did indeed contribute to copycat attempts and could serve to glamorize the act. So that really that is support from the church that this is actually true, and that's like a guideline from the church that we need to like be careful and watch out for that. And then Miranda Proris by Pope Pius XI, he says that we are called to use the media responsibly and with our morals in mind, and that was more like about television and newspapers, but that's also like a form of media. So it was published like in the 60s, but it's still like relevant today with like all of our media. And the USCCB talks about like promoting the church's teachings through the media and not just using the media for like secular things. Okay, so basically what that said was that the media can be used for like both good and bad. It depends on like how you view it and what you choose to look at and how you choose to be influenced by it. So it can affect you in a negative or a positive way, just depending on how you decide to take it. So my solution We all have an obligation to influence our youth positively. So like by not posting negative things on the media for like people who are publishing the media, and then like not like being influenced by the negative things. And then we're called to use our faith and morals in the media to like spread the word of God through the media. And then also we can help by spreading the word about suicide prevention resources, like the suicide prevention hotline. I know there's like one in every country, so you can like spread the word about that and stuff. And then for the people who are publishing the media, don't include details about suicides when you're reporting on them. Make the victim unrelatable, and like show respect for the family and like the victim, and don't mention how they committed suicide. And then I also came up with this program, and it's like a suicide education and prevention program. So people would be like volunteers, and they would go to like a seminar basically, and like get like educated on how to use the media properly, and like how to teach teenagers how to use it properly and like view it properly. So then they would like go to schools and like churches and stuff like that, and like have like programs and like teach teens and like even like adults like how to use the media, um, like with the churches and morals, and spreading the word about like suicide prevention. So in conclusion, the media is both good and bad, and we have an obligation as Catholics in society to promote morals in the media. So basically, we should be careful what we type, say, do, or post on social media, because it could change someone's life. And then I also found this quote, and it's, your worth is not measured in likes, comments, notes, or followers, but in your ability to love, keep comments to yourself, take note, and lead. And